Our next speaker holds two full-time positions. The first as Chief Creative Officer of Replica Creative, and the second as Chairman of the LenFest Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Keith Leapheart.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Keith Leapheart, a self-described physician by training, but truly an entrepreneur by birth. I'm really excited to participate in this year's ThinkFest, as my company, Replica Creative's motto is Think Big. With that philosophy, I am always eager to listen and learn from regional thought leaders. Today, you will hear from a lot of bright people who have big ideas for our city and our region. But the one idea I hope we all adopt upon leaving here is that our biggest regional asset is our people, and that the strength of our region is directly tied to the intellectual capital that resides within our region. As a small business owner whose company is part of our region's creative economy, I have seen firsthand the opportunities available for people at all skill levels to participate in the workforce. But before I get started and get to the core of my remarks, in which I hope to highlight the importance of our region's creative economy and the pathways it provides for young people, I think it's important to identify the challenges that currently hinder the growth of our regional economy. If we are truly going to be a great metropolitan region, then we must be more intentional in our efforts to strengthen our region's intellectual capital in today's knowledge economy. I hate to say this, as a lifelong Philadelphia resident who is deeply committed to our region, we are average at best. This is not my opinion. These are facts supported by just about every major indicator of regional growth. The Bureau of Labor Statistics indicates that since the recession, we are last of the 10 largest US metros in job growth. Between 2008 and 2012, we have the second largest rise in income inequality. We are sixth among the 10 largest metros in post-secondary attainment rate. Of the largest metropolitan regions, we have the fewest entrepreneurs per capita. To me, that last stat is the most alarming, because entrepreneurship goes hand in hand with innovation and creativity, and innovation and creativity go hand in hand with growth. Most entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs because they believe they can create something out of nothing. Entrepreneurs and creative types can look at a blank canvas, and when others see nothing, an entrepreneur can see endless possibilities. Entrepreneurs fuel the small business community, are important to job growth. But even if we didn't mind being average as a region, the statistics associated with the city of Philadelphia are even more depressing. Only 24% of our city's residents have bachelor's degrees. We have the highest poverty rate of any big city in the country at 27%. Even worse, 39% of Philadelphia children live in poverty. And just a few years ago, we had the dubious distinction of having the highest incarceration rate in the world, which in essence means we have a high number of unemployed and underemployed people in our city, contributing to a very low tax base. As a regional economy whose cultural core is the city of Philadelphia, we can no longer afford to ignore the problems associated with urban poverty, including a failing public education system and a lack of social and economic mobility. I think one of the biggest inhibitors of our region's economic growth is the fact that we haven't made a commitment to growing intellectual capital at all levels. It's mind-boggling that a city that is home to so many great institutions of higher learning, who day to day are on the forefront of innovation and creativity, is also home to such great poverty and academic decay in the K-12 system. If you compare Philadelphia to the sister city of the MetroCorp family, Boston, as the owners of Philadelphia Magazine also published Boston Magazine, we have a long way to go. Like Philadelphia, Boston has some of the world's best academic and healthcare institutions. But conversely to Philadelphia, it is reflecting the fact that 44% of Boston residents have at least a bachelor's degree. And despite having their own challenges with public education, Their 8th grade reading and math scores are significantly better than here in Philadelphia, with proficiency rates almost twice as high as Philadelphia children. Having had the opportunity to spend a few days in Boston as part of the Economy League's most recent Greater Philadelphia Leadership Exchange, the one recurring theme was that Boston wanted to be known as a region rich in intellectual capital. They realized that talent attracts talent, creativity attracts creativity, and they made both the public and the private investments necessary to support an innovation ecosystem. We, as a region, must have the same commitment to attracting, nurturing, and retaining the talent that often escapes after getting their degrees from our region's colleges and universities. But rest assured, as an optimist and an entrepreneur, the glass is always half full. We do have the human assets necessary to go from good to great, but many of them are untapped. Right now, many would consider our city's human capital not an asset, but a liability. But as Jerry Leapheart once told me, his biggest success in business occurred when he was able to convert his biggest liability into an asset. Our region's greatest potential asset is currently one of our greatest liabilities. But I believe we have the potential to ignite this untapped intellectual capital that currently lies dormant in our schools and in impoverished communities through the cultivation and expansion of our region's creative economy. In 2009, I became invested in the city's creative economy when I acquired a sleepy 30-year-old print shop called Replica. And I'm sure some of you in this room are probably like many of my friends and family who at the time thought I was nuts by buying a print shop. In hindsight, I probably was. But the reality is, as an entrepreneur, you have to be a little bit nutty. To be clear, I didn't view the acquisition of this business as simply buying a print shop. I viewed it as my entry point into the creative economy, as printing technology was changing rapidly to meet the demands of a digital world. 5 years later, I'm proud to say that Replica Creative is positioning itself as the hub of creativity, serving as one of the city's leading design and print firms. In December of 2013, we opened the doors to our second location here in University City, known as the Creative Cafe at Replica. It's the first of its kind in the country to co-locate a design and print business with a barista in a cafe. We like to view it as if a high-end Kinko's and Starbucks got together and had a really pretty baby, it would be us. As chair of the board of the ThinkFest Foundation, whose mission is to expand educational and career opportunities to Philadelphia's youth, I continue to believe that growing our region's creative economy is key to accomplishing this, as it serves as a critical on-ramp for our youth and other disconnected workers to enter the workforce. While many creative occupations call for bachelor's degrees or above, others only require on-the-job training or a post-secondary vocational degree. When you connect an entry-level job to a hard-working, eager-to-learn employee, it can often lead to opportunities for advancement in the creative economy. Over the last 5 years, my business has achieved great success and continues to grow. But the thing that I'm most proud of is our ability to give young people and disconnected workers an entry point into the workforce. My first hire over 4 years ago was a young man of high character and work ethic who at the time was finding it difficult to find employment after returning home from prison. Since being hired, this individual has proven himself to be one of my most dedicated and hardworking employees who is a true asset to our team. Most recently, we hired a young man who had dropped out of college after only one semester, who felt college just wasn't right for him. This young man is smart and has all the tools to be successful, but just wasn't interested in college. Since coming on board last January, he has become such a valuable piece to our team that he's received 2 substantial raises that I often joke with him that he makes more money at 19 than the average American household. As an entrepreneur with a business and creative economy, I am blessed with the ability to do the 2 things I love doing the most, making money and helping people. So what is this creative economy? The concepts of creative economy, creative class, and creative sector have been in vogue recently, with no clear consensus on what these terms mean. The word creative itself is a moving target. Some describe being creative as an activity that involves imagination, or originality. To others, the focus is limited to traditional arts and cultural activities. To me, creative is a mindset that first starts with an individual. And when like-minded individuals come together, ideas are born and expounded upon. From there, creative environments and communities develop, which in turn attracts others in a creative class, many of whom are the knowledge workers over which cities compete to attract. Philadelphia's creative sector is full of enterprises in which creative content is central to both the cultural and economic value of what they produce. These include businesses, individuals, and organizations involved at every stage of the creative process, from conception to production to distribution. Every creative process starts with the originator, or what I refer to as the creator. That's the playwright, the composer, the artist, the chef, or the designer. The next stage is the production, where creativity is converted into a consumer good through publishers and printers, film, video, and music production companies. Our creative sector is the heart of our smart business economy, as it relies on innovation and entrepreneurship and provides income and employment opportunities to all residents. And despite the economic downturn, the creative industries are among the fastest growing sectors in the world. And when you think of our city, besides being known for the great meds and eds, our creative enterprises are one of our region's greatest assets. There are 6 creative segments that I'd like to highlight here that are already bustling that we should look to enhance. The visual arts and crafts and designer products sector is the segment most associated with the creative economy, as it includes photographers, sculptors, potters, glass blowers, metal artists, jewelers, fashion designers, and other artisans who create products in the galleries and venues that display and sell them. This segment has been the driver of the bustling First Fridays activity that you see in Old City and the Gallery District. Our culinary arts sector. We have a growing group of talented new chefs who have brought energy, visibility, and a range of high-end cuisine options to Philadelphia. Philadelphia is definitely a foodie town, having some of the best restaurants in the world and a robust segment of locally owned food establishments, full-service restaurants, and gourmet food shops. So whether you're a fan of Vetri, Garces, Star, Claire, or Spraga, please know that your appetite for good food is helping to fuel our region's growth. Media and communication sector, with the growth of Comcast through the acquisition of NBC Universal and what I call the rise of the second tower, Philadelphia is home to the market leader in the communications industry. Content creators from around the world are eager to pitch to the leadership team we have right here in our backyard. Our building arts community is comprised of internationally renowned companies like Olin Architecture and Daroff Design that help curate the landscape architecture and interior design. The community helps to make Philadelphia's public spaces more vibrant and interior spaces more unique. The performing arts sector includes theater, music, dance, and spoken word. And the performers, promoters, producers, directors, and technicians needed to bring the performing arts to the public. Philadelphia's performing arts sector is one of the best in the country, ranging from venues like the Kimmel Center, featuring a world-class orchestra, to Philadelphia's underground spoken word scene that is touted internationally. And last but not least, Philadelphia's museum and heritage sites, including the libraries and historical assets in our city's neighborhood. We have the world-class treasures like the Barns and the Philadelphia Museum of Arts and a growing heritage tourism district. So as you can see, the assets are there, and our regional leaders should do what is necessary to incentivize growth in our creative economy. For many young people, creativity is often their biggest asset. Forgot the last page, guys. For many young people, creativity is often their biggest asset. Many are at the stage of their life when they can afford to experiment and take calculated risks. So we as a region have to be in position to allow young people to take those risks. For far too long, Philadelphia has been very hierarchical, very in tune with the status quo, and not in position, not allowing young people to grow and think creatively. I think an entrepreneurial, creative environment is one where everybody believes that they can succeed. And until we address the issues with our hierarchical structure here and push, we will never be able to push our economy forward. The best way that we can push the growth in our economy is through growing our creative economy. Thank you very much.